up, what up? I'm the math teacher Goat, and today in fourth grade math land, we're talking about number patterns. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? That's me. And that was a pattern of numbers. So that's what we're going to talk about today. As usual, you're going to want some paper and pencil, so I'll pause the screen from time to time or ask you to pause the screen from time to time and have you do some problems. And hit the like and subscribe button, please, I beg you. All right, patterns. What's a pattern? Well, like I just said, 2, 4, 6, 8. When you can take a bunch of numbers and figure out or predict what happens next, that's a pattern. So here it's asking me to describe the pattern and find the next 3 numbers. Now, what you want to do is you want to look at your numbers and see what you add or subtract from one number to get to the next. Well, how can you get from 2 to 5? Well, you could add 3. How can you get from 5 to 8? You can add 3. How do you get from 8 to 11? You can add 3. How do you get from 11 to 14? Add 3. So describing the pattern for this one is you're going to add 3 to get from one number to the next. So what are my next 3 numbers? 14 plus 3 is 17. 17 plus 3 is 20. And 20 plus 3 is 23. So that's how you do it. Let's do it again. 21, 19, 17, 15. Now, how can you go from 21 to 19? Well, you're not going to add in that case. You're going to subtract 2. So let's see if it's the same pattern. How do you get from 19 to 17? You subtract 2 again. How do you get from 17 to 15? You subtract 2 again. So what's this pattern going to be? Subtract 2. Okay, now what do? 15 minus 2 is 13. 13 minus 2 is 11. And 11 minus 2 is 9. Okay, we described it again. We did it again. Oops, I did it again. Britney Spears. It's a song. Look it up. Your parents would love that. How do we get from 50 to 43? So it's getting smaller again, so we'll probably subtract. So what can we do? We can subtract 7. 50 minus 7 is 43. 43 minus 7 is 36. 36 minus 7 is 29. So this pattern again is subtract 7. See there, I looked at my answer. All right, now 29 minus 7 is 22, the Taylor Swift special. 22 minus 7 is 15. And 15 minus 7 is 8. So if the numbers are going up, see if you add the same number every time. If the numbers are going down, see if you subtract numbers the same time and every time and see what happens. So you try these 3 on your own. Pause the screen, get your scrap paper, try these out, and when you're ready, unpause, and we'll go over our answers together. Welcome back. We got 70 going to 75, going to 80, going to 85. So these numbers are getting bigger, so it looks like we're probably adding. So 70 plus 5 is 75. 75 plus 5 is 80, and 80 plus 5 is 85. So we add 5 for this guy. So 85 plus 5 is 90, 90 plus 5 is 95, and 95 plus 5 is 100. 100. That's how I keep it. All right, let's do another. These numbers are getting smaller. So probably, well, let me see, 29 minus 3 is 26. 26 minus 3 is 23, and 23 minus 3 is 20. So this guy is subtract 3. 20 minus 3 is 17. 17 minus 3 is 14, and 14 minus 3 is 11. We did it. Now, let's do another. These numbers are getting larger. So let me think. 1 plus what is 10? 1 plus 9 is 10, so you're going to add 9. 10 plus 9 is 19. 19 plus 9 is 28. So we're going to add 9 for this guy. 28 plus 9 is 37. 37 plus 9 is 46. And 46 plus 9 is 55. Okay? Okay. Now, surely they're all going to be like this, right? They're all going to be like this. Well, let's see what happens. Let's do what we've been doing, and we're going to purposely make a mistake, okay? So let me think. Usually you would be like, oh, these numbers are going up. 2 plus 2 is 4, and 4 plus 2 is, wait a minute, not 8. Huh. So you actually add 4. So sometimes when the numbers are increasing, what you want to do is see if they increase by the same number, and they don't in this case. You don't add the same number every time. So if your numbers are getting larger and you're not adding the same number every time, you must be multiplying. So try that instead. 2 times what is 4? Oh, 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8, and 8 times 2 is 16. So since we were going up, since the numbers were increasing, but adding didn't seem to work, we tried multiply, and that did work. So multiply 2 is our pattern. So 16 times 2, I'm just finding the next two numbers. 16 times 2 is 32, and 32 times 2 is 64. So again, when we looked at this at first and we tried to add the same number, that didn't work. So if adding the same number doesn't work, do multiplication when the numbers are going up. So look at these numbers. The numbers are going up again. So 1 times, well, if you were to be like, let's add 2 and let's add, that's not going to work because you would add 2, add 6, add a much bigger number, so adding doesn't work here. So 1 times what gives us 3? 1 times 3 gives us 3. 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 3 is 27. So this is going to be multiply 3. Okay, so if you're not 100% sure of what to do, it's okay to go off to the side and do some old-fashioned math. If you're not sure what 27 times 3 is, then you go off to the side and do, okay, 27 times 3, so let's set that up. 3 times 7 is 21, carry the 2. 3 times 2 is 6, but 6 plus 2 is 8, so you get 81. So the next number in this pattern is going to be 81. And now you have to do it again. If you're not sure, then do it again. So you go off to the side and say, all right, well, I have to do 2 numbers, so what's 81 times 3? I don't know. So 81 times 3, set it up. 3 times 1 is 3, carry nothing over. Ignore that. 3 times 8 is 24. So you get 243. So the next one's going to be 243. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with going off to the side and, writing out those numbers there. So when the numbers go up, but you don't add the same number, you multiply, which means if the numbers go down, maybe you try subtracting the same number. So let me see, 160 minus 80 is 80. But 80 minus 80 is not 40, so subtracting doesn't work here. So if the numbers go down and subtraction doesn't work, try division. 160 divided by what is 80? 160 divided by 2 is 80. And 80 divided by 2 is 40. And 40 divided by 2 is 20. So this is divide 2. So you keep that pattern going. 20 divided by 2 is 10, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so one last time before I have you try this on your own. If the numbers go up, but you're not adding the same thing, multiply. If the numbers are going down and you're not subtracting the same thing, divide. So you try these two on your own. Try these two on your own. Say what the pattern is, and then find out the next two numbers. Pause the screen, and when you are done trying these out, unpause the screen and see if you got it completely correct. Welcome back. So let me see. We have 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 4, 4 goes to 8. If you add 1 every time, that won't work. So you must be multiplying something. So 1 times what is 2? 1 times 2 is 2. And 2 times 2 is 4. And 4 times 2 is 8. So the pattern here is multiply 2. So the next two numbers, 8 times 2 is 16. And 16 times 2 is 32. So that's how you do that guy right there. These numbers are going down. But it's not like you're going to be like minus 400, because if you do minus 400 again, it'll go away. This is divide 2, because 800 divided by 2 is 400. 400 divided by 2 is 200, and 200 divided by 2 is 100. So this pattern is divide 2. So 100 divided by 2 is 50, and 50 divided by 2 is 25. Those are your next two numbers. Now, sometimes you're not going to be asked to find the next two or the next three numbers. Sometimes you're going to be asked to follow or find the numbers in between, and that's what we're going to see here. Okay, that's what we're going to see here. Find the missing term in the number pattern. So we've got 17, 20, 23, blank, 29. So what we're going to do is we're going to guess the pattern, fill in the blank, and see if we did it right. So 17 goes to 20, 20 goes to 23. So this is just add 3 every time so far. So let's try it out. 17 plus 3 is 20. 20 plus 3 is 23. 23 plus 3 would be 26. And 26 plus 3 would be 29. So we did it right. Okay, so you guess the pattern, fill in the blank. Okay, this next guy, going a little bit in reverse, we have 40 to 35, 35 to 30, 30 to 25. It looks like we're subtracting 5 here. Now here's the thing. What must we subtract 5 from to get to 40? Well, if you need to go reverse, do the opposite. So instead of saying, all right, well, going right was minus 5, so going left would be plus 5, which means 40 plus 5 is 45. And let's double check our work. 45 minus 5 is 40, so we did it right. So sometimes we have to go in reverse when we do some of these fill in the blank ones. And when you go in reverse, you just do the opposite. All right, so let's see what we have to do here. These numbers are going up, but you're not adding 4 every time, because 1 plus 4 is 5, but 5 plus 4 is not 25. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 times 5 is 5, and 5 times 5 is 25. So we did it right, which means the next one is going to be 25 times 5. So if you have to go off to the side and do that, let's do that. 25 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12, and you do get 125. Okay? And 125 times 5 is 625. Trust me on that one. You can go off to the side and try it on your own, but you know what? I don't want you to try that. I want you to try these. These are going to be the last two that we're going to do today. So pause the screen, you do it, we'll come back and check our answers and see if you did it right. Welcome back. So 50 goes to, I don't know, which goes to 64 to 71 to 78. So these numbers are going up. It doesn't look like we're multiplying. It looks like if we just add 7, 64 plus 7 is 71. Okay, 71 plus 7 is 78, which means I can go back to my 50 and say if all of these are going to be plus 7, then all of these are going to be plus 7. So 50 plus 7 is 57. 57 plus 7 is 64. I did it right. Now, last but not least, we go from, I don't know, to 1,000 to 500 to 250 to 150. We're not subtracting the same number every single time, which means we must be dividing the same number. 1,000 divided by 2 is 500. 500 divided by 2 is 250. 250 divided by 2 is 125. So That means if going to the right we divide by 2, that must mean going to the left we multiply 2. So 1,000 times 2 is 2,000. So 2,000 divided by 2 is 1,000, and then the rest of it works out swimmingly. Okay? So that, boys and girls, is number patterns. Okay? You figure, do you add? Do you subtract? Do you multiply? Do you divide? And then you just kind of go from there. Okay? Number patterns. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Until the next video, I'll miss you so very much. Thank you for watching. Bye!